Welcome to PTI. In this very video, we're going to be talking about PTI Trading System, a simple approach to the market, the way we approach the charts. We look at three things: structure, manipulation, and market behavior. The first thing is we want to see a clear structure in the market. We want to see a clear direction, higher highs, higher lows, or lower highs, lower lows. That's what we want to see. And after which, we want to now see a manipulation that is in favor of that particular direction we are looking at. We want to see that, okay, market has taken out traders, there has been a liquidity sweep, then we can now start looking for an opportunity to enter. But before that, we want to look at something else again, which is market behavior. We want to see that the market is actually telling us a story that we actually understand. So the process is structure, manipulation, behavior, and we'll now look for reasons to enter. Also, the market will always give us a clue. So our job is to wait for the clue. We wait. Once we get it, we enter. Now we're going to look at the chart to see practical example of what we are talking about. Let's move to the chart. So let's look at practical example of how the system can be applied on the charts. You can see this is a gold chart, the 1 hour time frame. It's already marked out. You have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, and you have a lower low. Now that establishes our first step, which is our direction, our structure. After that, the next thing is to check for manipulation, of which you can see right there. Price took out that double top there, sweeping liquidity before pushing to the downside. So our first two criteria has been met, which is structure, that's direction, and manipulation. The last step will now be to look at the overall market behavior. The whole idea is to see if the overall market behavior supports our sell bias. We now zoom in to see what's going on. Now, on zooming in, we're going to notice something very unique. You can see that price rallied. Every single time price rallied up, it gave a very weak retracement, a very weak sell. Rallied again, gave a very weak sell. Let's look at it. You can see the rally here. You can see the weak sell it gave, right? Rallied again, gave a weak sell. Rallied again, gave a strong sell, and started giving a weak buy. What does that show? That shows that buyers are resting. They have become a bit weak, right? Which therefore means that we are very likely going to witness a deep retracement. Now, this weakness, this loss in momentum does not signify a reversal. No, we are not yet sure. But what we are almost sure of is the fact that we are going to witness a deep retracement before we will now know if the buyers will come back into the market or if the sellers will take full control and sell further. So because of this, we are now certain that price will definitely give us a deep retracement, which therefore means that our sell is valid. We can start looking for entry opportunities to sell. And as at that time, price was still at this very point, right? This very low, right? So we can be looking to take a trade at this very area. This is a very beautiful area to look for trades. Many price pulled up. That very area is a very good one to look for trade. Nearly price push to the upside. You can look for trade around here. So around this point, once price gives entry reason, you can now enter a trade. and of course target the next level, which will be this level right here, this support level right here. Now let's look at NAS 100 for another quick example of how the strategy is applied. This is NAS 100 and this is a 1 hour time frame. Let's quickly take this out because this is not needed for now. Now, as we can see again, we have a low here, then we have a high, we have a higher low, and we have a higher high, establishing our structure, establishing our direction. Now, is there manipulation? Of course, you can see that this first low took out this double bottom here before pushing up. So we are having our manipulation as well. Now, the final confirmation is to see if the overall market behavior supports our buy. Does the overall market behavior show that we can actually buy this market? That's what we want to find out now. So, as usual, we can zoom out to see what's going on. First of all, we can see that this is an uptrend. Prices have been pushing up, rallying up very nicely from what we are looking at. And if we look carefully, we can see that if we pull up a trend line and take it from this very point to this first low that we're looking at, you can see that it is the third touch of a trend line. If we also look left, you can see a very beautiful demand zone here. The one is also known as order block right here, from which this push up happened. So with this, we can say that yes, the overall market behavior supports a buy. Therefore, we can start looking for buying opportunities. Right? Now, if we go further, we can also see something else again. Another trading opportunity. I'm already in this very trade. The first thing first is to see a clear structure. And this very structure is clear. This is a low right here, pushing up to give us this high, pushing up to give us another low, pushing up again to give us this higher high, now establishing our structure for us. So we can now start looking for our next criteria, which is manipulation, of which you can see that these levels here shows that there was a manipulation because markets pushed that to take out the level before starting the push up, right? So our second criteria is met, which is manipulation. Now the last one will now be market behavior, the overall market behavior. And as you can see from the initial trade, from the initial setup that we have taken before, obviously the market is still looking bullish. So there's nothing much to look at. The next thing will now be to look for entry reasons and enter the trade. So this is basically how the PTI system works. Very simple. You look for direction, you look for manipulation or liquidity sweep, then you look at the overall market behavior to see if the market behavior supports your idea to either buy or sell. Then you can now take your trade. This very system can be used to trade any market. For me personally, I trade gold, I trade indices, and I trade synthetic indices, basically volatility. So most of the time what you'll be seeing on this channel will be volatility index and gold. Now I urge you to subscribe to the channel because I will always be dropping analysis based on this very trading system, so that with the analysis I've dropped, you can very easily make your trading decision.